What if you could do SEO?
And I get to open this by saying the Sesh connection is now in Tracy's hands.
Yay! Jazz hands.
I'll be back in a
The
second.
jazziest of hands.
On today's episode of T-Ballz Bag of Happiness.
Ooh, can we yet discuss what happened in that group text the other day, or do we need to wait on that for a while, or?
The good news.
Because we haven't done this show in weeks, remember?
My event news?
Your
Well, I mean,
meeting?
it's partially attached to events, and it's partially attached to this, and
The meeting you had?
Yes, that meeting. Yeah.
They sound so diabolical.
I know. I don't know. It feels kind of cold without James being here. Doesn't that seem weird?
we can wait.
Oh, I mean, we could, but I mean,
We don't have to.
we'll
I was just
definitely
curious.
talk about that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, we can definitely dive right into a lot of things that kind of happened or are happening or things that are taking place and how things kind of have to be. And we'll kind of discuss that a bit. But
Is anyone getting beat up?
no, nobody needs to get beat up. But there have been a lot of changes, like in the MED and stuff. So even when it comes to like events that we're having, it's got to be very discreet. There's got to be certain ways to do it, and hence that meeting. So super.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, you couldn't just thread the cart onto that thing once it's in there?
No, yeah, it's what you're supposed to do, but if you drop it in there, the
Then you're
magnetized element, it makes it extremely annoying to try to get back out.
I take it you've tried that before.
I've
It
definitely
sounds
made
it.
that mistake. Oh, well, it just goes here. Oh, shit.
So we missed you for the moments you were gone. Actually,
She wouldn't talk about
it's
anything.
true.
Yeah,
I
we
wanted
didn't
to wait till
discuss
you were
crap.
here.
Yeah.
We,
Was not
we
a
never
productive
discussed
moment.
crap.
I don't
Can't
know.
do
I
this
heard,
without James.
I heard laughing.
Oh, because I
farted.
made fun stuff.
You didn't all just sit here and be like, and we'll wait.
No,
I
we
mean-
tried to get her to talk, and she was like, "No, I can't do it without James."
It's true.
She said it felt cold.
Felt,
and
yeah, I
weird.
did. Said it felt cold and weird without James. Okay, so I actually have a couple things in my goodie bag and I apologize for the makeshift goodie bag, guys, because I have my weed bag, but because I was moving, a lot of my wonderful stuff is in storage, which is in a storage room right now that has a very intricate game of topple going on in there.
Ooh, I love
Good pull. I don't think most people remember what topple is.
I fear that if I open that door, that everything from like wine glasses to weed is going to fall straight on me. So it's going to be one of those days where I do it very carefully and go through all my stuff. So the weed bag is in there. So we have this little paper bag. One of the things I'm pulling out is a company that has decided to go rosin with their Rice Krispie treats. So Chaos bars exist, and they've actually come up with some really interesting designer ones that I haven't actually tried yet, but have really wanted to. There's like a strawberry crunch. There's a peanut butter cup one. There's a cookies and cream, and now they have a rosin line. So this is the Fruity Pebbles Crispy Chaos Krispies solventless rosin Rice Krispies bar. So we're gonna try this.
Yay.
It's not necessarily
You can
on the
already
market.
see the anxiety in James's
I know,
face.
isn't it lovely?
Fun fact, out of all of the baking items, Rice Krispies are my all-time favorite
good to
thing
know.
to snack on.
Because the other varieties that Chaos has is like I was saying, like the red velvet, the peanut butter cup. There's a strawberry crunch. Yeah, so we'll get a few of those in. So, ooh. This is what that's going to look like. It's very pretty. Very, you know.
Oh, it's like it's marked so you can break off
Oh,
sections?
yeah. Every piece, every little square that we're going to break off of here is 5 or 10 mil. So
This is maybe the most terrifying thing I've ever seen, because if every one of those is like,
that's not me.
if every one of those little things is like 5,
10.
10.
oh, cool. So you're talking about a,
100 milligram bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look, tasty.
Fruity Pebbles. That's what this one is.
Oh, so not, okay, so I want to be clear.
Oh, 10
The-
milligram pieces.
So I was thinking, I don't know if I can adequately show that. So it has this sort of like printing of THC all across it because, God forbid. I was thinking each one of those little pieces was 10. So I was like,
No.
oh,
Oh,
cool. So
darn.
you're holding death in your hand. Because that would be like, okay, here's 7,000 milligrams.
Enjoy.
You can't even buy that much in one sitting.
That was really
That is
good.
so
It
good.
didn't taste like weed.
I do get a little.
It tasted like a Rice Krispie square.
I got the weed taste right on
Right-
the mouth the moment I opened. And
Yes, I agree with you. But it's on the aromatic side.
I don't like Fruity Pebbles, so I like this.
And you like most things that are fruit forward.
Fruit cereal is weird. So I think the fruitiness took away from the weed taste because
Agreed.
but it's still really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, you put cereal and marshmallows together and you sold me.
right.
So
I will say that, you know what this reminds me of? Is that Sono
Can I get another one
Gardens
of those?
cartridge
That's
you brought.
delicious.
That, like, berry
Oh,
kind
the
of
blue
thing.
all-in-one
where-
with the battery in it.
Yeah, that's what this reminds me of. And that's in a good way, because I loved that cartridge. I let some people hit that and they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
So
I ran
just-
into a girl at the bus stop a week ago wearing a Sano Gardens fucking hoodie, and I was like, what's up?
Sono, actually, and I love me some Sono.
Yeah, I'll
They
do.
had an event this past weekend. It was called the Summer Soiree. I did not go. One of those reasons was because, of course, my brother was there, and we know how I feel about that. Just don't want to run into.
We don't talk about oh shit.
That's right.
I don't know how it's applied, but the second piece I got tasted almost all like hash.
So you're saying it's not consistent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Because
that?
that is a common
Not
Very
to
much.
bash,
concern with edibles.
but I definitely picked up like, because my first one just tasted like a cereal bar, like you'd get a 7-Eleven. That one tasted like hash oil, not hash oil, but like
it tastes like
when you
weed.
make butter with
Yes.
fucking.
So, Paige, on the ingredients, is it made with canna butter or is it made with cannabis oil?
it's made with cannabis solventless rosin.
Rosin, right.
So marshmallow, fruity rice cereal, butter, rosin,
Right.
salt.
So, again,
Is there a
solvent,
really
rosin.
clever description on there that I
No.
can read in a sensual way?
Right?
Not really. There's a warning label.
So,
But
my
it's not fun.
curiosity.
Like I'm still not mad at it. And, like overall, I'd still
Yeah.
eat another one, but like I don't think it's got equal distribution across that bar.
My curiosity would be in X amount of 20-minute onset kind of feel. How you're gonna first of all, you've taken 2 as opposed to the ones that we've taken, but is it gonna be more effective on you because you're feeling that extra hashiness? Because I mean, if it's not consistent, let's just go there for once. If it's not consistent and that's stronger, then it's going to affect you differently, which to me kind of is scary when it comes to edibles for people that aren't looking to overdose per se.
That's why you should just eat the whole bar at once.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's that. So I'm actually kind of glad that this topic came up because I have a friend, and his chief complaint, and he comes out to Colorado and he will buy edibles, and I do my best to recommend companies that I have had a consistent experience with.
Rozzies.
My favorite.
The I don't know which one it is, but at least in my experience, the most consistency, and it's a company. I don't know the name of the company, but they come in little geodesic dome,
Wild.
and I've had a very consistent experience.
That's
with
That's
fair
a
to
that.
great
say.
company.
And I know that that's
Agreed.
like it's a very like sort of bougie chef created, or at least that's what it was based upon. I don't know if that's really true anymore, but it's at least how it was founded, to my understanding.
It's just a superior product.
But it's
Yeah.
it's consistent.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about that because edibles for me, it's like, all right, I'll throw one or two of those back and just enjoy my evening. I don't really think about it. But if you're invested, having like, I know that this piece is going to be equivalent to this piece or this piece, I can actually prepare myself mentally for what's going on.
That's fair. And if you're talking about more so in the sense of, especially the fact that they have like 2-to-1s, 1-to-1s,
They also have a sleep one.
right? That, you know, that's like, that's what you need for this, that's what you need for that. Each one of those things are going to help in some way. And so, I mean, even for another show, and we'll say next week, because again, my stuff is in storage, I do want to kind of introduce you guys to some other cannabinoids that are being really kind of looked on more and more these days. So we'll focus on stuff like that and kind of talk about like the differences of how it's good to have those consistencies when it comes to like a 2-to-1, a 1-to-1, a 10-to-1, because that's important. If you don't have consistency and you have gummies or edibles of some sort that you're trying to say are a 2-to-1 or something, it could just affect somebody differently, like your extra hash taste on that second, piece that you took. There's people that have never taken any kind of edibles, and I recommend Wild to them all the time.
Everybody that
start.
I've ever recommended an edible that wants a consistency through and through, it's always been Wild.
Don't get me wrong, I love Wana, but I like them for different reasons, and we'll get into that. I like them for different reasons, but I think that for a first timer, for a lot of people, you're right to kind of recommend that
Yeah.
Wild brand to people.
And the flavors are out of this world.
Yeah, their newest flavor, and again, we'll discuss a lot of this next week, is going to be a blood orange that actually is awesome. So that's really important to know that.
One
there's good
company that I
flavors with
am
that.
interested to see on how they go about doing it, because
Yeah.
I saw it at your event, is the Wana with their anxiety, but I haven't seen them release it yet. And I've been looking
So-
for it on the market, and I really am interested to see how that goes.
So it's named something else, and I just so happen to have that here because that was something that you and I discussed. So
Yeah.
I was very happy to kind of see it in this bin of samples. So it is called Wana Quick Calm. So it's going to be fast acting. So we know
Yeah.
that right off the bat. So when we typically say like 15, 20-minute onset, we might actually see this in a 10 to 15-minute onset. Or it could still be a consistent
But the
15 to
cool thing
20.
about this is they have a QR code on the label that when you scan it, it gives you meditation techniques to take into while you're waiting for the gummy to kick in.
You should talk a little bit about that, especially because that's something that you've already tried. and
Well,
it's
no,
some-
I haven't tried
Oh, I
this.
thought
They
that you
didn't
did
have
try it at
They
the
were
event.
talking
I
about
apologize.
releasing it.
Gotcha.
And so they talked to me about all the ins and outs, and I've
Gotcha.
already explained about all those. But yeah, I'm going to try one.
And even on the side of what it has, of what the different cannabinoids in there are. And it should give you percentages on that as well.
It has 100 milligrams per package of CBG, CBD, 10 milligrams of CBD for the THC for the whole package. Per piece, you're only getting 1 milligram of THC per piece, which is great. It's vegan, and It's melt proof, which is great when Satan's fucking armpit is hanging out in Denver, Colorado. Where
Yeah.
am I going to find all the other details on here?
So I actually like the fact that it has only 1 milligram of THC. That's a little tough to find a lot anymore, is that you have more of everything else and less THC in a dispensary for edibles and things, which I think is great because they're showing you don't always need that psychoactive approach.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm a little upset with Paige. She spent a little too much time with this. When you're telling me it's 1 milligram and it's going to make me just feel awesome, pass it along.
Can I see the actual package? Because I want to scan the QR code to see what it shows up.
I'll give it to you in about the same amount of time you
These are
had
ones,
it.
right?
Yes.
So the
Dude, I
label
love the
says
texture on
pinch here. There's a please recycle. Oh, you can peel here. Ooh, there might be more things to discover.
James, Tracy didn't get a gummy yet. Quit fucking around after you
Oh
talked
my
all
gosh,
that
I
shit.
don't mind. Holy shit. Guys are vicious. Okay, what's the flavor?
Bliss berry. It's actually delicious.
Ah.
Yeah, it's all right.
This is
like it.
again one of those consistencies that I don't love. The flavor I
Give
love.
that to him.
Oh yes, you
He's
are
got
the
things
best.
to read before
I
you
know, I
QR
wanna
it.
scan the-
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah.
I know she does.
He's
Damn
just
it.
being
That's a
mean
damn
right
James,
now.
shame.
will you hand me another one of those? Those are delicious. You can keep the thing. I'm not trying to like steal it to give it to Paige. I don't have a dog in this particular fight.
Oh no, this is just purely fun. It says peel here, but I'm having the hardest time.
Oh, I was going to have you read that little side area where it actually gives a description of what you're supposed to.
Oh, more words. I'm sorry. Paige is giving me the look of death. Like I want another one of those, and you're just being an
Well,
asshole
no,
right now.
I want to scan the QR code. That's all I want to do. Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Mr. Bear,
I
sir.
really enjoyed the texture. Like, if for me, that is the texture a gummy should have.
Yeah.
That's the jam for me.
It's like a very soft jujube.
Yeah. It reminds me of homemade jam. Like if
Yeah.
you're making sandwiches, that's I love. That's literally my jam.
Wana again is another
I-
superior product.
I'm gonna blast through the bullshit, but the ingredients actually, ingredients are labeled the most, like the highest quantity to the lowest quantity, right? And this is actually interesting. Organic sugar, organic tapioca syrup, pectin, fine, that's basically Jell-O, but most of this is actually pretty benign. Like it's made with, like, you have to list all this random crap, but if you know anything, you know that everything in that is like just like what exists. It's like we just put a chemical name on it. It's like, yeah, no, that's gelatin, but gelatin is like 8 different compounds. So I
Right.
have to list all 8 compounds because, yay, America. If you were in Canada, it would just be like gelatin.
It says
So while I did not get a hash taste to it,
I liked it.
Wana's great for
I
not
did
having a
not
taste.
like the flavor. Like it was almost too tart for me.
have
so
to
it
look at that
says
later.
relieve anxious feelings fast. This calibrated blend of calming cannabis compounds and your turn. He reads better with small print. I don't know why people put such small fucking print on
Some
everything.
Small box.
What's wrong with people? Make less words. Make it
Well, I
bigger.
mean, Paige read most of this, but this calibrated blend of calming cannabis compounds and L-theanine,
I didn't read this.
the same soothing amino acid found in green tea, acts within 5 to 15 minutes to slow spiraling thoughts when you need it most. And because each gummy contains only 1 milligram of THC, You can take them any time of day without intoxication.
So, as a person who always functions at a very high anxiety
I
level,
like these. I like the
I'm
premise of
interested to
these.
see what would happen if I hadn't already gotten high before and I was having an anxiety attack and I took one. Thanks.
Yeah, I
On some fat guy shit.
Paige, I get one more of those.
Oh, that's her choice, though.
She
On,
already
on
did
some
tell
fat
me.
guy shit, you know what I would do? I would fuck around and be high, and I would think, oh, you know, it would taste good. I would take a piece of the fucking Rice Krispie one from earlier, and I would take one of the gummies, and I would wind up making a little sandwich, like a 30 milligram sandwich.
I'm just
Nice.
interested to see in like 10 to 15 minutes how I feel.
Right, exactly. Like as somebody that is very prone to like anxiety attacks and
Someone
panic
check the
attacks. What's that?
Someone check the time, set a timer, and be like, do I feel
Right.
like that?
So here's what I need you to do. Let's bring some of those or another batch of that back. We start the show with you basically putting me into an anxiety attack. You just tell
Sure.
me all the reasons why I'm terrible for like 5 minutes.
I could just say the
And
word
then I
purple
take-
to you 10 times. That'll definitely cause anxiety. Just 10 times. I won't go over 10.
It's like Candyman. You say it 3
Right?
times in a
Yes.
mirror, and they just show up.
And they appear. Like, should we should we test that?
You're already sending him into a frenzy.
I know. Quick, get him another gummy.
Do you want me to throw it at you again?
Open your mouth, quick.
Master James, remember your breathing
Either put the gummy in
exercises.
there or get him a wallet to chew on.
Remember your breathing, Master James. You can get through this.
Stuff a wallet in his mouth.
Do,
See?
do you want another one now?
Yeah, he does. He certainly does.
Here.
What's the next thing out of the bag?
So this next thing is called Next One Infused Pre-Roll. High potency oil, all flour, no trim. It's blue memberberry. It is 35% THC, and it has a very interesting container. When I open it, it is actually sealed, which is pretty odd
Weird.
to me. Yeah, very weird. So they're trying to contain a lot in there, which is kind of weird. Not a bad looking pre-roll actually. It's nice and tight, but not too like crazy tight.
That's what she
Greens?
said.
Yeah, that's you, girl. Spark
Before
it.
we light it, like
Take a look.
big ass fucking cone, goddamn.
1 gram.
1 gram. 1 gram. 1.25 grams.
Oh. Sometimes I just want to put the joint on a scale just to see if they're lying to me. I know that they shouldn't be.
So
I mean, we've already lit it now. It's too late.
So I weigh cannabis all day long. And I can say that we have to be pretty consistent on how much we put into something. But, like, if you go, like, 0.03 or
Yeah.
0.05 over, it's going to be okay. Because a lot of it will end up as shake in some of the bag where you can't reach that. And then that means that you won't be able to smoke it if you can't reach it. So. So the good thing about you having a fan on is we can also do kind of a fan test while we're smoking this and see how consistent it is, see how it burns with just wind blowing in general. I kind of like to see that, especially when it comes to infused pre-rolls. But why is that? Because with 111, it's very consistent. It passes the wind, effect where you can actually put it in front of a fan and it will still burn consistently and slow all the way down, which is a good thing. It tastes good. Doesn't burn going down. It's not harsh on the throat.
tiny bit harsh.
Harsh, a little harsh for you.
A little bit, but super tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so this is one of those pre-rolls that the closer it gets, like, the rougher it's going to get.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can tell it right now.
I
Most
would.
infused happen like that though sometimes.
I would love to bring some. If I'll snag it up because I think I have some in the sample bag. But the Eden half gram live rosin joints.
Would it be okay if we extinguished this
Yeah.
now that we've all tried it?
Absolutely. Kind of figured you wanted to do that. But they're small. They're the half gram, and they kind of have that, like what you were about to say with this, is that it has that harshness. Because
Just
it's just they're
put it
trying
back
to
in the
jam a
tube,
lot.
and the oxygen will cut it out.
I know that you all are about it because it's infused, yes?
Mm-hmm.
I actually like that more than most, but I'm not the purist that most of you are. Like, I'd smoke the shit out of that. Just being honest.
Oh, no, yeah, I just
Yeah,
smoke
it's
that all
easy. Yeah.
day.
I don't dislike the taste. I think it's actually...
Yeah, it's-
I'm
super
assuming we
tasty.
only put it out because you didn't want Michael to get upset.
Welcome back.
So James had a tantrum about his wiener. Everything's fine now.
He tugged on it a little.
Legitimately,
Yeah.
legitimately though, good joint.
He told
much
me I was
sand.
clipped on a diagonal, and I was like, no, it was straight, man.
So it looks like last but not least we have Chem Breath Haze. It's an artisanal premium live resin cart.
What does artisanal mean?
Special.
But like,
Expensive.
can you just give me a legitimate dictionary, not the Urban Dictionary
I
definition?
associate it with cold and clear.
Well, because like you can get artisanal carts, you can get
You can
artisanal,
get artisanal
sand
water.
I mean,
You can
technically-
bathe in
Okay,
artisanal
hold on,
water.
James
No,
making
hold on.
pretzels would be an artisanal pretzel because it's handcrafted by somebody who knows the
Well,
skill.
that has nothing at all to do with water.
No,
They know
that's
where to tap it.
that's an artesian. It's called an artesian well, and that's water. Artisan is somebody that has crafted a particular set of skills, much like that movie Taken,
See, that's,
except used for good.
that's terrible.
Well, I
Aren't
mean,
they almost
technically,
spelled the
Taken
same?
Was used for good.
Was it though?
He got his daughter
He
back
hurt people.
to get his daughter back.
He hurt people. Think about it from the other people's perspective.
They
this
they
guy
got
came
People
up and
trafficking
hurt
in
me.
humans, James.
No, but he's
yeah,
right.
The people that kidnapped his daughter,
Yeah,
James.
Look,
rest-
at the end of the day,
people
they
who were
have a
bidding on his
They
daughter.
have a job to do, and they went to work that morning just to sit at a table and talk about guns and stuff and watch a door where a little girl was like sitting behind it. That's all they went to school for, or that's all they came to work
That's all
for.
they went to school
and then
for.
they had to get beat
You don't
up by
get to
some
ding
dude that's just
that.
pissed off
If you-
because his little girl is
Okay.
sitting behind that door.
Moral of the story is you don't get your ass kicked if you're not in nefarious situations.
How about
What if they didn't know that they were in that
Oh,
kind of
you didn't know that you were in
As
a
soon
child
as you're
trafficking ring? Please
trafficking
tell me.
people, you're in a nefarious situation.
Please tell me
Tom
when
Hanks
you think
didn't know.
well, what if they just needed a ride, Bear?
Did you really just fucking ask me that? Like you're not retarded? No, if you're a young woman on holiday in a foreign country, as
It's expected.
romantic
Oh.
and horny as it sounds, You should probably not jump on a stranger's moped and see the world.
He's not wrong.
Not
should
in a
probably
day and
keep to your
age where
fucking
people
self.
are fucking trafficked.
You can't even go to a Walmart in the United States of America without someone wanting to traffic your ass now.
So
Jesus fucking Christ.
I will
I'm untraffickable.
I will
I don't think
present
so.
and granted, this is third person, so this is not my story.
James is like, I'm not a kidnapper. I just know a kidnapper. I've never abducted. I've just been
I
abducted.
just had them hanging out
adjacent.
at my house.
Let's just say that there is a human that is on the floor above us right now that on act of pure faith while doing an internship in Jerusalem took a cab, literally a cab, to the Jordan border, slept on the beach of the Red Sea, and then met a handful of Bedouins and just jumped in their truck and had a fucking blast, went through Petra, slept in caves, got every imaginable experience. And the concept of that is not something that exists in this country. But everywhere else in this world, it absolutely does. Where
No,
it's
this
just like,
is the
oh,
only
you-
country I would get in a stranger's car and be like, let's go,
This is the
rodeo.
only country I wouldn't get in a stranger's
This
car.
is the only country that I do get into a stranger's car, and I pay them for it.
Yeah, Uber, Lyft.
But there's accountability there.
An accountability to what?
So
You know what I could do, James? I could walk outside. I could kill someone. I could take their phone
Okay,
and their car.
I took a Lyft the other day, and I was having a conversation with my Lyft driver, and she was like, "This has been an impossible week and a half. I'm really happy you're a woman." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I've had 3 dudes pull a knife on me this week."
Oh, Jesus.
So I mean, we live in an awful country, but
So-
also as someone that lives in an awful country, I'm assuming that everybody is going to want to traffic me everywhere else. So Liam Neeson was right. I'm not getting on someone's
Okay,
moped.
so I'm going to have a little moment of clarity here. At about minute 21 to minute 32 of every one of these shows, this descends into pot talk. And so, which is the greatest part of the night. But we are literally so far away,
Well-
but we do it every week. So it's just like, okay, first 15 minutes, focused. Last 15 minutes, pot talk.
It happens.
As a father, don't
So-
get on that moped.
I don't know anything about that cartridge.
Right. So, Hayes.
So while we were just bullshitting about goddamn who knows what, there was a cartridge passed around that we may have forgotten about in the last, I don't know, several minutes.
So we started out with me getting the spelling of and definition of artisanal wrong.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
And
That's where
and
this
that's
started.
where
Oh,
this went
Yay!
from there.
We found the root.
So yeah, yes, because we compared the word to taken.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, James. That was all you. The same person that has the issue as to us veering off is said creator.
It is a delicious cartridge.
It's the
Methinks thou dost object
it's the
too much.
duality of man. I couldn't resist.
It is a 78% total cannabis.
Nice.
It's chem breath, and it's a 510 thread. But it is a live resin cartridge by Hayes.
I haven't heard of Hayes.
So
You haven't had. I've
I did.
actually kind of gotten down with Haze. So like that's a Haze cartridge I pulled out to, for
Yeah.
us to sample that.
Yeah.
They make some of their stuff is super good. Some of it meh. But there's a few of
Yeah.
their
Their
are
straw nana
really nice.
and their Fruit Loops one is actually pretty
Who
decent.
doesn't love straw nana?
their Maui Wowie.
I don't think I had the
Is-
Maui Wowie, but
I prefer my nanas to be made more out of a bamboo than a straw.
But yeah, this one's the ones that you're talking about are their distillate. This is one of their live resin
Yep.
ones. So yeah, And they're reasonably priced. They're not like shift or craft priced. Like they're not bottom of the barrel. They definitely hold like a pretty decent level of like how good they are. Yeah, I would buy these. It's a good bang for your buck. Oddly enough, what I find very weird is that Bonanza is less expensive than them.
I do
I
go
actually-
mostly Bonanza at this point.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you mostly buy Bonanza and you kind of enjoy that product. Would you pay more for Bonanza or more for Haze?
I would have to hit that one again. Like right now, I'd just say Bonanza because I've done like 15 Bonanza carts in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, well, all in all, I mean, Bonanza,
Well-
Haze, like they're all very like decent companies.
I mean,
You
honestly,
get your smokes worth.
the only reason I discovered Hayes was actually because of you. I asked you, hey, I'm looking for a deal on carts. And it was one that you threw out. Now, I'm not used to this particular dispensary that I rarely go to, but I did because of that deal. It's such the weirder experience. It's like I have to go through this, and then I have to wait until I am greeted and brought into a room, and I'm like, this is like too many steps. That bugs me. They're
They-
super nice. I
Yeah.
have nothing against their customer service, but it's like their process is like,
The
I'm
experience.
not going to get a massage.
Yeah, they,
Like that's what it feels like. It's like, and here's your robe, sir.
yeah.
And are you comfortable? Please come this
Oh,
way
is
to
this one
choose
of
your
those-
marijuana.
People try to sell you the experience at a dispensary because they want you to feel so welcome that you come back. And I feel like to an extent that can get very out of hand. I see that as a bud tender where there are people that come in and are just like, I get this kind of a discount. Oh, okay. Like, it'll show up on your screen. You don't have to tell me. Like, it's going to come up. Be careful. Like, don't worry about it.
Can you imagine how dangerous it would be if bud tenders are given the power that bartenders are given?
Oh, Christ.
Where it's
If
just
we were
like
allowed
I had
to
I
go
had
out in a different way.
like I went to Chiba Hut the other night. I had what 4 beers and 2 shots, and I was charged for 1 shot. And it's like, can you imagine if a bud tender was getting? Oh, that's my boy.
So that's what I mean. Unfortunately, when that happens, it's taken very much advantage of at dispensaries, and those people think that because James, the main manager, bartender over here, main guy, main bud tender for the day, he's always giving out deals to you, and so like when you come in the next time, you're gonna go up to Bear and be like, so where's my hookup? And Bear's gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because I'm not whoever you think the fuck I am. I don't have that authority to do so. Yeah, but I get this. And it's like, you know what, you may
Ooh,
get
but-
that with James,
ooh.
but, it doesn't say it on here that you get that with anybody else. Maybe that person hooks you up, but
Oh,
Tracy the bud tender or Bear the bud tender or that new person that just started a day ago doesn't fucking know that.
Oh, okay. So, you know what? Yes. Here's just a public service announcement to everybody out there. If one person hooks you up, that doesn't mean you always get shit.
That's right.
And if you don't compensate the person that is giving you the hookup, so for example,
Tip a motherfucker.
if I planned on having 5 drinks, then I knew the amount of money I was going to spend with tip. So you got all of that for less, but just spend the amount of money that you knew it was going to be. It's like, I got $40 to spend tonight. I've spent, 30, and I was charged 5. No, you spent $40 tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, bud tenders go through a lot where people like expect that hookup, and then and you end up giving them that hookup, and then they don't even tip you, and it's like, dude, where do you get off? I don't understand. Like, I don't know, or they treat you like crap, and it's one of those, dude. Why would you wouldn't do that to your alleyway drug dealer? You wouldn't bitch and complain.
I have a question now about this because
Yeah.
this is a fascinating topic related very much to weed. Am I expected to tip the bud tender if the bud tender didn't provide me any service outside of like reaching? I can't reach behind that counter.
Yes. Just like your barista.
I'm not expected to tip the guy at 7-Eleven. I'm not expected to I'm not expected
All
to
the
tip
guy
the
at
guy.
7-Eleven does is scan your item, and that's it.
If that's all the guy at the
barista-
dispensary did for me.
A barista makes your drink. A bud tender can.
I don't drink coffee,
Wait,
so
hold on,
barista's out.
hold on.
A bud tender can get loose flour and weigh out your amount of product for you. Your bud tender can talk to you about product. You can come into my dispensary and say, I'm looking for XYZ, and I don't know how to get that, or I need it to do this,
and if
this,
I
and
ask
that.
for those services, I will tip accordingly. But if I walk into my dispensary and I know that I want this cart, this brand, this size, and then I have to listen to you pitch something that I have no fucking interest in, so now you're wasting my fucking time.
Mr. Pink,
Am I
just
still
tip.
no?
Just
And it's not a Mr. Pink issue because, like I
it's a
said,
Mr. Pink issue.
if I go in and I ask for this, and now you're obstructing my fucking day, and I'm still expected to tip you?
When you say obstructing, you're saying that someone's trying to pitch you on something else. I don't know anybody that does that
That
necessarily.
shit happens at every dispensary I shop at. I'll go in and be like, I would like this cart. And they're like, well, we have this cart on sale. I'm like, I asked for this cart because
You're going to
that's
the wrong
the cart I
dispensary,
want.
my friend.
To be fair, the last time that I went to a dispensary and I had a bud tender interject on what I was doing, he actually saved me $35, and I got to keep 100 of my frequent shopper points, in which that I would have spent just spending $25.
So you're saying, in his case, listen to the pitch.
Listen to the pitch sometimes because
But
it saves
if
you a little
I'm
bit of fucking
going
money.
in to buy a cart because I know I've got $30 to buy a cart,
You know what?
I don't want to hear this guy's fucking pitch about his flour. If
Okay,
I was buying
th-
flour and he said, let me offer you this alternative flour, I'll listen.
Well,
if
with
I'm
the
buying a cart and he says, let me show you this alternative cart, I'll listen. But if I walk in and say, hey, I want a cheeseburger, and the guy says, how about this fucking 2-piece chicken dinner, I will tell him to fuck himself. When I go in to buy a cart and you can't just sell me my fucking cart and you start wasting my time about something that is not cart related, no, I do not feel at that point I have to tip you.
Again, I don't know
At
other
some-
people that actually do that, that aren't relative to what you're trying to shop for. But okay.
I don't think
I
I have
mean-
ever experienced Bear being more passionately upset in my life, and
the
I have
thing
known
is-
you for a
Do you
long
need
time.
another one of
As
these?
a rebuttal coming from a person that has to say something day in and day out because that's what my job entails. You can't really get mad at someone because they want to push something. It's not because they're trying to push something on you. It's because their job is making them push that. So just fucking listen.
And it's his choice to not listen, and I get that too. But
Yeah.
she's not wrong on the sense of like,
We're
unfortunately,
not wanting to repeat the things that we're saying.
as a BA as well that has to pitch a fucking product at a stand for 2 hours like every time that I work. One of my things is that I have to give you this spiel. I work very hard to get through that spiel, so sometimes I have to say it very fast so that I just get through it. And the problem with that is that I have two types of people. Somebody that doesn't hear a word I fucking said because I'm going too fast, or somebody that'll just stop me because I'm going too slow and they're like, I'm not interested. If you stop me and say I'm not interested, that's fine. I appreciate the ones that let me like say my spiel, because at the end of the day when I'm saying to them, I'm like, hey, they got to pay me for something, so thank you for listening to my spiel. They got to
Tip
pay
or
me
no
to stand
tip,
there. I
just
have to,
listen.
my job is to pitch this to you whether you want it or not, because that's what I unfortunately get paid for.
For
I am
sure.
a door-to-door salesman.
You're a Miller Lite girl every time you go to the
fucking
liquor store.
Unfortunately.
And if the Miller Lite girl stops and talks to me at the liquor store, I know that that's her job and I will listen to her. But since I'm not there for Miller Lite, I will then leave politely, but I'll listen to your spiel. But if then I go to the fucking counter of the bar and I ask for my pack of Blackwood or my pack of Backwoods, and then he's like, oh, would you like this cinnamon schnapps shooter instead?
No.
That's the exact same fucking analogy. If someone is there to pitch something and that's their job, I'll listen to that pitch. But if your job is to sell me marijuana that I ask for, then just sell me the marijuana I ask for. If unfortunately you work for a store, much like Paige, where you are now given an additional thing that you have to spiel, that's not my fucking problem. And I definitely don't have to tip you because you don't have a better job.
Whew, wow, that's a fucking hard statement.
That's just somebody that doesn't want to tip. That's okay. That's okay. We get people like that every day, all day. I mean,
If you provide me a service, I tip well. I tip my DoorDash guy above and beyond because I don't have to go out into the world.
so
I'm not opposed to the idea of tipping. If I walk in and I can look at the guy and he knows that I want a cart and he just has to ask me what flavor, I'll tip that guy 10 fucking bucks because he pays attention to what I'm doing. Every time. I'll buy a $20 cart and tip that guy 50 fucking % because I don't have to deal with any bullshit.
So that's the
That
when you
is
go,
the customer service I want.
So the
But the
but
other guy
that's
that
when
works
you
there
also
that's then
go
trying
into
to
a
sell me a
place-
fucking bong?
But that's also when you go into a place that they apparently know who you are. That guy knows me. That guy knows that I just want that. So you go to that place. If you go to a different place, though, we don't know who you are. I don't know that you typically
I
just
go
like
to
that.
2
I have a job to
dispensaries.
do.
Like, I don't know, maybe that, like, I'm the alcoholic version of this.
Okay, hold on.
I go to 2 dispensaries. I have one, like, east end of town and one on the west end of town. And that's it.
Okay. I have to interject at this point. We are legitimately arguing the legitimacy of tipping in a very nuanced way. There are obvious.
I cannot be the only
Stop.
pothead with this question, and this is a show to help
I
potheads
don't
learn about pot stuff.
care. You can tip or you can't tip. It's not like this isn't an argument that's ever been won in the history of mankind, and it certainly isn't going to be solved in this stupid room. You can say, well, you tip them for this, well, you don't tip them for that. I mean, Jesus Christ, you might just flip a coin for the next half century and see who wins. Maybe one of you by one. Stop it. Everybody deserves more money. Everybody deserves to have a little more peace. Everybody deserves some of this shit. I'll be honest, those 1 milligram things are actually kind of made me in a really weirdly happy place because I didn't even eat the other edible. Like, I took one little bite.
Oh,
so
the 10 milligram. 10, not 1.
No, it's
no,
one.
no, it's 1 THC.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
understood what you meant. Okay.
I'm like, we're all a little high, but I'll be honest, almost an hour in, I'm a lot more clear-headed than I usually am. So I actually really like those. And I am maybe going to have to arm wrestle Paige after mics go down to see who gets those.
No.
She's small, but she might be
Power
mighty.
hitter. Power hitter.
I love the visual of James going to swing on Paige and Paige just biting him.
I would.
That's here's how I imagine that going: is a duck, a kick, and a bite, and you can imagine how that works.
And the duck didn't even want part of the fight. He was just in the wrong part of town trying to get bread.
That
Just
poor
wanted a
duck.
snack.
That poor duck.
Okay, God damn it, Sesh connection.
We'll talk about that other stuff another day.